Christy Martin, the main focusing figure of the new movie about Christy Martin, the lesbian boxer from history, which Sydney Sweeney just portrayed in a movie that unfortunately did flop at the box office. And I say unfortunately not because I want there to be a propagation of lesbian ideology or gay ideology, because I am, as a Christian, opposed to that belief system. I say unfortunately because it has unfortunately resulted in a bunch of mudslinging and mud throwing and dirt throwing at Sydney Sweeney, who really, in terms of legality, has not done anything wrong. The only sin that she's committed thus far in the cultural zeitgeist is that she starred in a jeans ad that made a funny pun which said Sydney Sweeney has great jeans as she was wearing American Eagle jeans. And since then, the rabid leftists have come out trying to say that she was a Nazi advocating for eugenics. Meanwhile, they'll still go ahead and support Planned Parenthood, which was based off of an ideology strictly based off of eugenics to cleanse black children from the face of the earth, as was the original intention of the founder. Now, despite that ridiculous contradiction in their thinking, they have continued to attack Sydney Sweeney for wearing jeans and for being in a jeans ad. And now Ruby Rose, as I have already addressed in my previous video, has come out attacking Sydney Sweeney all the same. But Christy Martin, the main figure of the movie Christy, which Sydney Sweeney portrayed, has come out and actually defended Sydney Sweeney, calling her an ally. Christy R. Martin said, "I've always been a fighter. My life reflected that in every way, and now I fight for others." Christy Martin, the subject of the new Sydney Sweeney starring biopic Christy, has taken to Instagram to defend the actress following a box office flop and a fiery Ruby Rose call-out. ICYMI, Sydney Sweeney has been copping heat for the better part of this year, but for the most recent wave of backlashes aimed at her titular role as the Martin figure in the just-released biopic Christy. Rose slammed the film and labeled Sweeney a cretin, saying that she stole roles from people. Sydney has now found an ally in Martin herself, with the boxer entering the ring in a staunch support of the Euphoria star. This is actually a post from Christy Martin where she says, "The past few days I have seen some people attack my friend Sydney Sweeney. I've always been a fighter. My life reflected that in every way, and now I fight for others," she added. Martin went on to comment, saying Sweeney has worked her ass off for both the film and for so many others suffering in silence. And she says, "So I want to be clear about who Sydney is. She is my friend and ally." That's actually the post right there, where Christy Martin says, "I've always been a fighter. My life reflected that in every way, and now I fight for others. The past few days, I have seen some people attack my friend Sydney Sweeney. Sid not only worked her ass off for this film, she worked her ass off for me, for my story, and for so many others suffering in silence. So I want to be clear about who Sid is. She's my friend and ally." So the star of the biopic is saying that Sydney Sweeney is a friend of Christy Martin, a friend of people in the lesbian, gay, bisexual community, which again, I'm not a huge fan of supporting their lifestyle. You can still be friends with them, obviously. That's a good thing to do. In fact, if you can be friends with them and bring them to Christ, that's the most beneficial and righteous thing you can do for them. But that's not enough, because Ruby Rose and most other leftists are going to just rail and hate Sydney Sweeney continuously, despite the fact that the very star of the film that did flop is defending her, despite the fact that other people of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender community support Sydney Sweeney, and these people are going to rail them as turncoats or Uncle Toms or some other nonsense like that, because they're part of the mainstream leftist political zeitgeist, and they don't like to admit when they are just wrong. They don't have an actual nuanced opinion, and everything to them is black and white. Ruby Rose is one of those individuals who's black and white. She believes that she's right because she's part of the mainstream, and she believes that anyone else who disagrees with her is wrong. And that's it. That's her only two views of the world. And that's just ridiculous. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. Leave a like, comment down below your thoughts, share this with your friends. I hope you guys have a great day and a great rest of the week.